Welcome to Transformations. My name is Adriana Mott, and in this series, I will show you how I take problems that you have in your home and turn them into wonderful solutions through design. If you've ever renovated or wanted to renovate, you know that it all starts by looking at a lot of photos from Pinterest, House, Google. Everywhere on the internet, we're bombarded with images of beautiful spaces that we want to assimilate for ourselves. Now, the question is always, does it fit with what I have? Aside from the fact that, yes, there's the budget issue, does it really fit? And what elements out of what I see will make sense in my space? That is the critical element of a successful renovation. Recognize what it is out of the inspirational images that you have or the advices that you get that you can actually transpose and place into your home and actually make it work. That's why I'm here. I want to show you a series of projects that we've done in the office, a real life projects for real clients like yourself that we take from the beginning and transform with the client as our partner into something that they want, into something that marries that aesthetic image that they love with the practicality of their lifestyle and with the reality of the space that they have. When I walk into a new room that I know I need to renovate, I always look for what makes that space special. Every room has something that is unique that you can build upon. And sometimes that's hidden among a lot of furniture, too many things, a lot of color, the wrong tone, the wrong vibe altogether. So once I find that, if that is an element that is extremely interesting, I know that my job is so much easier. This was such a place. It had antiquated finishes and burdened surroundings. Furniture was heavy, even loaded. But around and above all this, it had excellent spatial value. Unlike most rooms with 4 walls and a flat ceiling, the ceiling here shot upwards in a slant, reaching double height above the dining room table. The dramatic potential of the space was immediate, and I knew right away that this will be my focus. So aside from the obvious need for an aesthetic refresh, the owners complained about the kitchen being small and isolated. This is a family that likes to entertain and really gathers in large groups for family events or different important occasions. The current home was just not conducive to mingling of this sort. Having big crowds just takes a different kind of space. To really enjoy the presence of others while sipping a drink or sharing a good bite, you need sufficient space to move around to make sure that you don't necessarily hear all the conversations in the same time. I start by opening up the walls. There are a couple of columns that we need to keep, but the rest is non-supporting, so it can all go. There are really 5 zones of activity here. We have the kitchen, the foyer, the dining room, the den, and the living room. Now, the den and the living room are on the outside of the 2 archways of the slanted ceiling, which makes them already spatially defined and not really part of the main space of the reno, only cosmetic. The main space is open for negotiation between the 3 remaining zones: the foyer, the kitchen, and the dining. So at this point, I determine how much space you need for each in order to create new boundaries. On one hand, this is a geometry problem based on how much space you need around the table to serve, for instance. Secondly, in the kitchen, obviously, you need a good movement between your stations of preparation, between the cooking area and the storage point for accessing the food. Then comes the most important part, setting up for the right ambience. I do that by carefully defining a focus element for each zone and then weaving the zones together with interesting design at their edging. I always think of the in-between, the fringe condition, where one room or one space meets another. That's where you want to be very careful with what you place there or how you position it. Let's look at how we weave these three zones together. This is what pulled really everything into one coherent space. If you remember, the house had one straight wall between foyer and the kitchen. So what I thought is, what if we take that wall, make it smaller, and turn it slightly? Well, that was the genius move. Because what it did, it made the kitchen more spacious. On top of that, it offered a fantastic background in the foyer for a beautiful sculptural piece that I've designed that it's an art in itself and it's a chair. All of this happened while staying in this dynamic dialogue between the interior parts that we already had going. So once you have these key moves, everything comes easy. And it allows you to add other elements of interest that work with the big players that we've just made, like the pendants above the bar and the oversized lights above the dining room table. One other important touch was to raise the corner window. That allows now for your eye to follow the slope of the ceiling all the way to the sky. In the foyer, I've opted for bold colorings where the dark cherry walnut stain of the door was extended up to the ceiling, plus we took it all along the closet wall. There were 3 doors here on the side, 2 for the closet and 1 that took you to other parts of the house. Look how beautiful all the doors were masked and the wood finish scaled up the place a notch. The overall color palette is muted and elegant. Gray floor, taupe walls, the honey-colored chair, and the cherry kitchen. The fun part is that we had to incorporate this antique ledge that works so well in this modern space. And after that, furniture is minimal, well chosen, a punch of color and fun, all ready for the guests.